So my birthday's coming up soon. In fact, the time when this video is uploaded, it will be my birthday, and I decided to spoil myself just a little bit. I got Daggerheart! No, but for real, I have been so excited to get this game forever. Creators have been making it hard to get anything anywhere. I was supposed to get the duality die and the hope and fear die. I came with the release of this game, only to find everything sold out. Like, this was like the last copy that I got off of Amazon for like 60 bucks. So this was a quick spend, but oh my gosh. Everything in this book is just kind of crazy. You know, like the artwork for the species and everything. But then also, I found no one talking about this. The artwork for just the campaigns is crazy. The concept for the campaigns is crazy. And the book itself, it's just, it smells good. I don't know what to tell you. Ever since I got back into D&D, I have loved Critical Role so much. I love the concept of Daggerheart, everything that I've heard about it so far. In fact, it's part of the reason what inspired me to create my own TTRPG, which I will get into soon, very, very soon. I'm so excited for you guys to discover it. But yeah, no, this has just been a big inspiration, and to actually have the core set in my hands, and not only just the book, now hopefully not all it spills out, but the cards too, crazy. I had to reorganize them a bit because I'm very OCD, and I try to organize it by symbol as much as possible. I feel like it should have just been like an entire set with the symbols together. That's been like my only critique so far about Daggerheart, is that I wish the card roster was like big enough to like cover each symbol, which there is a lot of symbols, but I feel like having a big old case full of cards is just really, really cool. But I understand why they broke it up the way that they did, just for simplicity's sake. But yeah, I think the concept of like the cards is so cool. I actually have dice not with me. I left them at my parents' place. Damn it. But I'll find a picture of them somewhere. But I have a yellow die and a blue die that would work perfect for Hope and Fear. It was just so cool. But anyway, I'm not just gonna like goon over Daggerheart. I actually wanted to do something fun that I haven't seen anyone else do yet, which surprises me. But I wanted to take one of my favorite D&D characters that I've ever created, a rogue red dragonborn by the name of Raphael Namor. I actually have a 3D model that my friend Chris printed out right here. Really, really cool. He's an awesome guy. Send love. But I thought it would be cool to see how well he would transfer onto a Daggerheart character sheet. Now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. This is not the first time that I tried to record this video. The first time was a complete mess because I went in blind. I didn't read the core book. I didn't really watch fully the Get Your Sheet Together series. Like, I found glimpses here and there, but I did not. I went in, like, I jumped into the dark and I got lost. I familiarized myself enough with the book on where and what I need to find. Okay, so first you need to look at all the cards that are available to you. There's a whole lot. There's like a whole bunch of species, classes. I'm not even going to get into like all of the classes out of there today. There's classes and then there's domains. Domains are like the head house of like what you could be, and then the classes are like the things that branch off from that domain. It's a very not complicated, what's the word? It's a very robust system, but once you actually look at it and kind of study it, it's pretty easy to get. But Raphael Namor is a rogue, and in D&D he's known as a dragonborn, but in Daggerheart these are called the Draconia. His heritage is a Slyborn Dracona, which Slyborn is pretty much being part of a community where it comes from a group that operates outside the law, including all manners of criminals, grifters, and con artists, which would make sense for the type of rogue that he is, which is the Night Walker. In fact, I'll show you. the Slyborn, and a Nightwalker card. Really cool. Shout out to Juan Salvador Mencion. I am so sorry if I mispronounced any part of your name. And Paul Scott Canavan. And for the Dracona artwork, Matt Wilma. You guys are very talented. Keep going. How does the book explain the Nightwalkers actually? It's actually so cool how they talk about it. These are types of rogue that hide in the shadows and manipulate them to maneuver around their environment. Very, very crazy. Very, very crazy. I kind of wish that they went a little depth on what they could be. But basically, the rogue class is described as scoundrels, often both attitude and practice, broadly known as liars and thieves. The best among the class move through the world anonymously, utilizing their sharp wit and blades. Rogues trick their foes through social manipulation as easily as breaking locks, climbing through windows, or underhanded blows. And they actually have magic in this game, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like a rogue that can spell cast is kind of crazy, and you don't need to subclass into another thing. This is their own system of magic, and I love that. After that basic information is down, you look at your evasion, which all rogues start at 12. It even says it on the character sheet, which is very, very helpful. We'll look at our skill sets, which are agility, strength, finesse, instinct, presence, and knowledge. And it kind of has a suggested traits on how you want to set up your stats. They suggest a +1 agility, -1 strength, +2 finesse, 0 instinct, +1 presence, and 0 knowledge. It's already a set range of numbers that you can pick from. And while normally when I'm starting out on a character, I would just go with the recommended stuff until I adapt better to the game. But this is a character that I'm already established with, and I know what his strengths and weaknesses are. In fact, let me explain my character a little bit more. I kind of describe my character as someone who grew up in their own Dragonborn clan, and at a young age his family got wiped out, and from then he lived on the streets, got kidnapped by this very awful rogues guild that taught him everything he knew. But ever since he kind of grew up to be an adult, he killed the syndicate leader, and he is kind of like this vigilante-ish rogue fighter type person who earns coin from fights or from jobs where people had it coming, and then he donates to the community. It's kind of something like that. A little edgy, I know, but all rogues are edgy to a certain extent. I kind of want to keep some of those traits with him just because that is part of his character and part of his story, but I also know that you have to give and take some stuff when this game systems are different. So I'm going to say a +1 with strength, +2 with finesse, +1 with instinct, -1 with knowledge, and presence and agility. I'm going to do that. Now, that might seem a little weird with rogue because we're supposed to manipulate in shadows and we're supposed to be sly and crafty and all of that. And maybe later down the road, I'll think about switching a few stuff, but this is how I want it to be right now. And his primary weapon, there's an entire table list of I believe it's in the orange GM section, where you have a list in a table of primary weapons and secondary weapons. So for Raph, his main thing was always a short sword and a dagger. Dagger. It's a rogue thing. Don't know what to tell you. So I'm gonna say that his first weapon, I believe it was what was it called? The Returning Blade, and this is in the primary weapons table for tier 1, which is level 1, and then tier 2 is levels 1 through 4, something like that. 2 through 4. Then 5 through 7 is tier 3, and then 8 to 10 is tier 4. Yeah, there's only 10 levels in Daggerheart. That's crazy. That means campaigns are really, really short. That's weird. But that could also mean scheduling for campaigns won't be as problematic, maybe? Maybe that's what they had in mind? I don't know. So Daggerheart like has a range of like melee, close, very close, far, very far than out of range, rather than like math, which is great because I fucking hate math. And the damage is D8 mag. I don't know what mag means. Oh, magic. Sorry, guys, I'm still learning. The feature is that when the weapon is thrown, it returns to you like that. Cannot wait for season 4. And I heard Mighty Nine's coming soon. Guys, I'm still in the middle of campaign 1. I have not been watching them lately. I need to. I'm so sorry. But you know what? It's good to listen to their campaign. Like, I watch them on like YouTube and everything, but like in the background while I'm at work and just staring at my computer, it's really fun to listen to. I feel like this would be useful for Raph, because how I try to roleplay him is that like he does use his distance, even though he is like a fighter. He does try to use his distance to his advantage when he can, though he can handle himself pretty up close. So I'm going to have to look for a weapon in secondary to see what that would do. And I think short sword might do that, actually. Yeah, short sword. And who knows, maybe when I actually get to like play in a campaign, I might switch those two, depending, just to see like how his fighting style adapts into Daggerheart combat, because it is going to be different. But I feel like this is a good fit for now, because like I said, he does try to scope and keep his distance first, and then he'll move in close up when he knows the weaknesses of his opponent. Yeah, one of the things that surprised me was that we still have like a full set of like polyhedral dice, which I was not polyhedral die. I was not expecting that, considering like how much they push like the D12 and then like the D20 and all that. I was expecting like, I don't know, just a shorter set, but no, we have a full dice set, so that's good to know. Okay, and then we also get active armor. So I'm gonna say he has leather armor. There is another table that's like right next to the weapons. So basically what the base threshold and then your armor threshold is, that an armor's base score represents the short-term protection it provides and how many armor slots you can mark down. And then if you want to like avoid damage, you can use one of those armor slots to like negate the damage. So then you would only take like a minor damage, which would take out like 1 health point, or a major damage, which would take out 2, which you only start out with 6 as a level 1. So that's not a lot. So it's very generous. And then the base threshold represents the long-term protection. So that's what you would add with to your level 1 to determine how much of that you can actually take. So I'm picking a leather armor. Now, I believe it actually recommends leather armor. No, it recommends gambeson armor. Ooh. I could get a +1 with an evasion on that. Do I do that? Or do I keep my Dragon Boy's armor? Nah, he's fine. Okay, so then that means I would add the base threshold, which is a 6, to my level 1, so that would give me a 7, and then I would double that for my major damage, which would be a 14, which is great. And then that allows me an armor of 3 for my base score, so I can fill in 3 armor slots right there. And then what do I want in my inventory? What do I want in my loot? There's a lot. There's a lot that I can choose from. Okay. Let's do... What's some of the stuff that it recommends in inventory right here? A torch, 50-foot rope, basic supplies, and a handful of gold. Well, basic supplies. Don't know what those are, but they're basic. We don't do basic here, so never mind that. And then we also get inventory weapons. Interesting. handful of gold. Again, there's like no number range here except for like the rope thing, but like everything else is like just a handful, or it's very close. You don't like measure stuff out with like math. And what else should it say? Basic supplies. Now let's be a little more detailed than that. Let's look at our actual homing compasses. These two compasses point towards each other no matter how far apart they are. Oh, that'd be fun to have. I'm gonna do that. Oh wait, can I not have this? Oh, I have to roll these? Do I have to roll these? I don't have my die. Wait, what does it mean? Okay, wait, I don't think I read this. I don't think I'm reading this right.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Items are loot that can be kept. Using the rolling guide on the right to generate items ahead of your game or during a session, determine the desired rarity of your items. Roll the associated numbers of D12s and their value. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it basic for now, and then the stuff that I want. See, this is why we read the book, you guys. I didn't do this last time, but I did that with everything. When I did this the first time, I didn't even get to the inventory section yet. Do I have to roll for the inventory weapons? Guys, I don't have my dice. Actually, could I actually switch these two? Yeah, let's switch these two. Then he wouldn't have to worry, like he could assess from afar, he wouldn't go first when stuff is attacking, right? And then I can use the grappler, once I figure out how their fighting pattern is, I can use the grappler to pull them over, and then I can just stab them. I have bad handwriting, I'm left-handed, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, I finally figured out all of the stuff that I have for inventory. I'll show you guys a picture. I had to erase a lot because I really had to think about this one. Because the theme with Raph is that he does like to fight at a distance, but he also likes to exude some of his strength. So I had to see like what I could balance that out in. There really were a lot of strength-based weapons that made sense for a rogue to have. So I just kind of worked with what I had and worked with his +2 finesse. We figure out experiences. So experiences are pretty much just how we describe what our character has been through throughout their life. So for Raph, he would be an assassin / bounty / vigilante. I should say vigilante. Slow in giving trust. Not sure when that will come in, but I can adjust them later if it doesn't work out. Okay, and then we pick our domain cards, which I have the Nightwalker card. All of them are right here, so we all start out with these. This is pretty much what we specialize in. Oh, I also forgot to mention that, and when we start out, we all start with 2 hope. And along with picking our domain cards, so Rogue is in the domain of, I believe it's called Grace, and what else? Okay, so there's Grace and Midnight. So I have to pick 2 domain cards from Grace and Midnight that are at my levels. So I have to look through all of the level 1 cards. So there's 3 level 1 cards for Grace. They all kind of seem a little catered towards the Bard class. And then there's also 3 for Midnight. And then Midnight's also a little catered towards Rogue, when it's also should be dedicated to the Sorcerer, so it balances out. So to read the card, there's the level, then there's the domain that it's actually in, and then there's something called the recall cost. The book describes the recall cost as the number and lightning bolt in the top right of the card shows its recall cost. This doesn't affect you at character creation, but once you reach level 5, you'll have more cards than space in your loadout. your set of 5 active cards. See the loadout in Vault section on page 101. Okay, let's look at 101 real quick just to make sure we're doing this right. So this is just like our class cards, and then these are our domain cards, and then the recall cost is like the hope that we can spend on the card. So, imagine not having enough hope points to do this. That would be so sad. And then the hope points are kind of like represented as like tokens, so we would add the tokens to our card to spend the recall cost, if I'm understanding this right. Okay, so what do I want to pick for my cards? Some of these don't even cost a domain, so I'm supposed to pick 2 that I have, right? Or I can pick 5. I'm gonna pick 5, and then if you guys yell at me on the internet that I'm not doing it right, then I'm not doing it right, and then I will retract my statement. But I think I can do 5. You can have 5 domain cards. Okay, so yes, these are domain cards, these are class cards. I think they're different. I don't know. I think they're different. I'm gonna say they're different. Don't yell at me, I'm trying, guys. Okay, yeah, so I can pick up to 5 cards. See, this is a part that even when I was reading this, after I first tried it, and then when I decided to make this video right now, this is a part that I'm still getting, because this is completely different from just class features. This is actually like a new system. So this is the part that I'm figuring out. So I think I can have 5 cards. So if that's the case, I have a lot more at my disposal then. And then I think I'm gonna use Uncanny Disguise, because I want him to be good at hiding, and Deaf Deceiver. I feel like if I use those 2 as a combo, that's gonna be really good. Okay, so I think these are the cards that I'm gonna go with to represent Graph. So I think I did this right, and then everything else that's on the back that requires you to fill out the character sheet is like background questions and connections that you'll need to do for when you're in the campaign and you're talking to people. But for now, these are the cards that represent the Daggerheart version of Raphael Namor. And that is my D&D character turned into a Daggerheart character. Here's the finished product. Really sorry for any bad handwriting that I had, or if there's any part of the making of the Daggerheart character process I didn't understand. Specifically with the cards, this is a new system that I'm still trying to figure out. I could probably have more at my disposal, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but if not, this is what I picked out, and let me know how well I did, and kindly educate me and tell me if I did anything wrong. This is all a learning process, and I'm here sharing it with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that this process wasn't too confusing. I really just wanted to see what my D&D character would look like and how different he would be in a Daggerheart setting. And frankly, I don't really think he's that different. I just think the backstory part of his characterization is going to be different, and his personality might be displayed in a different way, considering the collaborative aspect of the Daggerheart character sheet. But I think that would make it more fun. So who knows, maybe one day, hopefully I'll bring the Daggerheart version of my character to life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.